Stitching Runner and welcome to my channel. I want to say a big hello and welcome to all new and returning viewers, and if by chance you've stumbled across this channel is all about cross stitch with a bit of life stuff thrown in. And today is Sunday the 17th of March and it is wet here at Wollongong. It's been raining most of late afternoon yesterday and for a good part of last night, and it's still been raining a bit here this morning as well. That makes me happy. I love it when it rains, and I, I attribute it a bit to growing up on a farm where rain makes a huge difference for a lot of things. And there are times when it's gotten really dry and then we've had these really good downpours, or it's even those wet days during winter that growing up, my mum has made it fun for us kids, where it was a time for us just to do whatever, whether it be chilling out or doing crafty things or anything in between, just playing games and those sort of things, and just making the most of the wet weather day, because when it's sunny, as kids especially, you're wanting to be outside enjoying the weather and making the most of the sunshine. So this is where here up at Wollongong, when it's a Sunday, regardless of the weather, Sunday mornings are quiet. They're beautiful and peaceful, and I am emphasising this because I live almost in the heart of Wollongong, and it is something that I'm still getting used to after living in the suburbs and out in the country for 40 odd years or whatever it's been. And there are times when I think I'm used to the traffic noise that we have, of the different traffic noises and everything that goes with it, and people being out and social on Thursday to Saturday evenings and having parties and all the rest. And then there are pockets of time when it's like, still not quite used to it. I'm getting there though. And that's why I love Sunday mornings and just how peaceful they are. So, with that in mind, the main purpose of this episode is cross stitch stuff, and just before I do jump into all of the stitching things, I do just want to touch on some life stuff and happy, exciting life stuff that's been going on within the last week or so, sometime between now and when we last caught up. I had this really awesome box of goodies arrive here from my sister and my niece and nephew, and they are some birthday presents that they had sort of put together for me, which I think was absolutely awesome and sweet and something I wasn't really expecting. And I'm gushing a little bit here. So what I first want to share with you is this really cute horse figurine that my nephew had actually picked out for me. And what I'm feeling absolutely chuffed with on this is, I think it was around the time of my birthday, so nearly a month ago. I was talking with my sister and my niece and nephew on the phone. They'd given me a call on my birthday and chatting away, and there was some questions my nephew had about the different figurines and artwork and such that we've got hanging around in our backyard, and then the different lights and lamps and such, and garden ornaments that we have in the backyard. And there's a horse-themed piece of artwork that's hanging on one of our backyard fences that another friend of mine had given me for my birthday. And so my nephew was asking about that and where that came from. And so I said, a friend of mine, she gave that to me as a birthday present, and that the artist who did that work does a lot of similar kinds of artwork and potentially has a stall down at the Maria Markets. And I'd then gone on a spiel about my love of horses and growing up with them, and that I think during my teenage years for a bit there, my bedroom was plastered with horse pictures that I made collages of, and it took me a long time to do, and I'm sure it drove my mum nuts that I have had the walls plastered with them. And with all that little spiel in mind, that's where my heart feels full and warm that my nephew remembered that conversation. And not that saying that there's anything odd, weird, or anything with that, but it's the sweet gesture that has come from him and his remembering that conversation. And I'm saying all this because I am enjoying this development of this brilliant and awesome relationship I'm getting to have with my niece and nephew, and I'm excited about what the future is going to hold as well, with growing that relationship and loving that I'm part of their lives and having that interaction. So this is me gushing and just being totally excited about all of that. And um, as part of that box of goodies, a really awesome birthday card was included, and I don't have it with me at the moment. It's one of those types of cards that has movement in it. So I'm not sure how to best describe this, but it's when you sort of even just adjust the card a little bit, so you move it to the left or right or up and down or anything. It has that illusion that the images in it are moving, and it has a butterfly and a flower and happy birthday words and such. And again, that makes me smile a bit because, again, it was a card that my nephew had picked out, and I just have this weird connection with butterflies where even from a young age, I don't remember doing it, but I had apparently drawn a picture of a butterfly for one of my cousins when he had turned 21. And then many years later, when I eventually turned 21, um, his kids had drawn me some pictures to do with butterflies. So there's just that really special bond and connection happening there. And I just somehow always seem to be drawn to butterflies, even though I've got a dragonfly necklace. I love dragonflies as well. There is something so special about dragonflies as well that you don't often get to see them around, and there's something special with that. I'm gushing again and getting tongue-tied, so I'm going to keep moving on. The other gift that I had received in this special box is this really beautiful tray. I'm not quite sure what I'll use it for, but this again is just something absolutely beautiful. I love the colours in it, and this reminds me a little bit of being at the beach. So we've got the colours of the sand near the base here. We've got the water, and it's almost like it's an over the head shot of the water and the sand, and then the gold that we're seeing here is a bit like the sun reflecting off that water and just having that beautiful sparkle. So it is, yeah, making my heart happy. And there was also some chocolates that were included in that gift as well. And I have worked my way part way through that box of chocolates. I'm trying to restrain myself. They are very yummy chocolates. So I'm just so thankful that my sister and my niece and nephew put that box together, and I'm just feeling very happy and grateful for that. Okay, so let's get into the stitching and the AFL challenge that I have been working on. Last time we caught up, the AFL season was just about to start, It officially kicked off on Thursday, the 8th of March, and it's going to go right through to the 28th of September or thereabouts. And then after the 28th, that's when the top 8 teams are going to play in the finals and figure out who's going to compete against each other for the grand final. And while they're sorting all of that out, I have assigned 18 different cross-stitch projects to the 18 teams that make up the Australian Football League. And the aim of this stitching challenge is to try and make some progress on a lot of projects that I have in rotation that I want to see even more progress done on, or at least hopefully finish, depending on what stage of progress they're at. And this is the third year that I'm doing this, and last year was a testament to how successful I've had, or how successful it's been for me, to do this stitching challenge and enable me to also learn a bit more about the teams and how they're performing, and then start to get an idea of how well they may or may not do this year. With that in mind, last year I did see quite a few projects finished, two of which I have with me now that I've been able to fully finish, and I'm just so thankful that I've been able to get them done. So the first piece was a dictionary of dogs, and this had been my oldest WIP and oldest work in progress, and I had started this a good 15 years ago, actually 15 years maximum. Michael and I have celebrated recently 13 years of being together, so I could have started this at maybe around the time we were all together. It started dating anyway. So I've got this one fully finished, and then the other piece that I was able to finish and frame up is one called 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm not going to be able to do a lot about the glare, but this is something that I'm super happy with, and it was one that I'd been working on for a while. I'd been grumbling a little bit about it because I was just finding it a little bit awkward to stitch. And what had helped a lot with this piece and getting it finished was that I had 3 teams attributed to the piece. And at least one of those teams, maybe 2 of them, no, definitely 2 of them, were doing very, very well in AFL last year. So it meant that I was working on this a heap. And if you go back over my previous episodes, especially from last year when I was doing the stitching challenge, you'll see how much this piece featured in those episodes, and how much I might have complained about it. But it's by the way, it's done now and it's all good. So it's with these 2 pieces in mind that I'm wanting to get a lot more work done on many of the pieces I'm about to share with you. So this is my disjointed way of getting in to the AFL and the stitching that has happened over the last couple of weeks. And the first piece that I have to share with you is a Heaven and Earth designs that they've charted based on artwork by Amy Stewart, and it's called Mini Stitch in Time. And this one is going to be a labour of love. I'm very much looking forward to seeing a lot more progress on this piece, and I've assigned this piece to the GWS Giants, and they've been tipped to do very well this year. There's a lot of hype around them being able to perhaps win the grand final. I think it was last year they had made it to the grand final, or they were very close to actually been in the grand final. So they might have been in like the semi-finals or something, and they lost by just a couple of points, and it made for a very interesting game. So with that in mind, this is where I'm at so far. And so far I've put 114 stitches into this, and the the Giants, they did play last night, and so their winning score was 121 points. So I need to put another 129 stitches into this. And this is where I also need to strongly note how I'm doing all this. Okay, so with the 18 projects that are assigned to the 18 teams, let's say, for example, the Giants played against St Kilda. I'm putting names out of the air at the moment. Giants and Saints played, for example, the Giants won, and their final winning score was 121 points. Therefore, I am putting 121 stitches into this cross stitch piece, and I hope that makes sense. If by chance you're curious and interested in doing this type of stitching challenge and such, go and check out the Hot Cross Stitching website. There will be a special page or tab to do with challenges, and you'll be able to download the stitching challenge thing that's to do with AFL, and that will explain it a lot better than what I'm trying to do at the moment. And it also will give you some alternatives if you don't want to do stitching based on the score. So if you're wanting to do stitching based around the amount of time that you spend on a piece rather than the amount of stitches you put in, then you've got an option in there, and there might be at least a third option as well. So we'll wait and see. It's all good. It's all good. So the next piece that I have to share with you is Dewdrop Daisy. Now, Dewdrop Daisy at the moment is assigned to a team called the Fremantle Dockers, and their colours are predominantly purple and white. And Dewdrop Daisy, I'm stitching on purple fabric. Now, the Fremantle Dockers haven't played yet. They're due to play tonight, and I'm not expecting them to win because of the team they're playing against. And I don't remember exactly who they're playing against. They might be playing against the Brisbane Lions. I've got an inkling that that's the case. And even though it is a home game for Fremantle, and 9 times out of 10, any team that is playing at home has that home advantage because they've got their supporters there backing them all the way, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That said, Dewdrop Daisy is a piece that I am wanting to finish this year, and that's why I wanted to put a little bit of extra time into it, because on Thursday, the 8th of March, through to Saturday evening, that was when some of the games played. They didn't have any games playing on the Sunday because it was an opening round. The AFL hasn't done a special opening round before, so they really only had maybe half or a quarter of the league actually playing. So I had a bit of spare time. And with Dewdrop Daisy, I was able to put 101 stitches into it. And so I've been focusing mostly on the big block of green that you see at the bottom of the page, or bottom of the fabric rather. And what I've just started doing as well is focusing some of my time on the actual petals now, because I'm needing a little bit of a break from the green, and I'm wanting to try and fill out some of the petals again as well, because that's going to help me a lot with the green and the stitching that I need to do around it. And again, it is famous last words of any stitcher. where we have these high hopes of getting a piece finished, and it's the famous last words of saying, oh, if I just focus on this piece and if I do, say, a minimum of 100 stitches per day, I'll have this done in X amount of days, weeks, months. Life then gets in the way, so it doesn't always happen. So to also help put into context for what Dewdrop Daisy will look like when it's finished, this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. This is a hot cross stitching design. It is one of my own pieces, and it is also available for purchase as a digital download or a physical chart on my website. I'll put all the details into the description box below if you are interested in purchasing this, or you're curious about some of the other pieces that I've got on the site. Okay, so the next chart or piece that I want to share with you is the Swans. They won their game, and their final score was 86 points, and sorry, I lied. It was 86 points, and I did want to share the Swans piece, but I'm going to share with you the Zebras one instead, just because of the order that I've got stuff in. Okay, so Design Works Zebras. This one did feature a little bit in last year's stitching. I have attributed Zebras to the Gold Coast Suns because of the colours, really. To me, the Gold Coast is all about summer, bright colours, fun, happiness, everything that goes with it. And surprisingly, the Gold Coast Suns, they've played a couple of times already. Or rather, they have played twice. So with the Zebras, I have put 99 stitches in because of their final score of their first game, and I still have 60 stitches that I need to put into this because they played last night. So I've been focusing mostly over here with some of the black stitches there, and I really just want to finish off the zebra that we have here before I make a start on the bottom of the piece. So it should be, again, famous words of a crafty person, that it should be pretty easy, it should be pretty straightforward until life has other things to distract me with. So that's going to be pretty cool. I am hoping to be able to either get the 60 stitches done today or released over the next few days, while we're then waiting for round 2 of the AFL. So I don't think I have any more of pieces in here that need work done. I am anticipating, who am I anticipating? I've got notes in 2 spots. So I initially was hoping that I would get some work done on the black and white rolled up daisy. So where you see the PowerPoint, and hopefully where my finger is pointing, the black and white rolled up daisy that I've got assigned to the Collingwood Magpies because of the black and white colours, and Dewdrop Daisy being a grey, black and white kind of piece. But they have surprisingly had a bit of a slow start to the season. Not that I'm complaining, because Swans managed to kick their butt last week, and then I think the Giants, they kicked their butt this week, or whichever way around it was happening. So hey, it's all cool. They won the flag last year, so there's no fuss with that one. I'm sure they will cope. There will be plenty of other opportunities. Okay, so what do I next have to share? What's next in the pile? Okay, yes, now I have Pelicans with me. Okay, so the Swans, they won their game, and they had the final score of 86 points. And so I'm working on Country Threads Pelicans, so the piece down here. I love Country Threads. I love this this brand. They are Aussie. Country Threads is these patterns charts are designed by a lady called Fiona Jude, and I think when I really seriously started getting into cross stitch again, I went nuts with stitching a bucket load of her designs because they are Aussie themed. They are very easy to stitch. They are beautiful designs, and they're just easy to follow. They're just really well done. And on the back here is just an example of the variety that she has on offer. And this is just a small amount of what she's got on offer. Also noting that I'm not being paid in any way, shape or form. I'm not receiving any benefits to promote Country Threads. I'm just thinking that they're absolutely awesome. And that's where I just wanted to just say, hey, I just really like Country Threads charts. And this is where I'm at so far. So the Swans, they won the first round, and I put 86 into this plus like an extra 20 odd stitches. And then they won again on Friday night, and their final score was 102 stitches at 102 points. So I've put 102 stitches into this piece, and that's where I've been able to get a lot of the white done. I've filled in a lot of the feathers here, and I'll just bring this in a little bit. And then some of the stitches you see here. So I'm stitching this on 14 or 18 count Aida that I've got in my stash. I'm using all of the called for colours, and I think that's about it. They're all DMC threads, and it's all going to be cool. I can't think if there's any other extra details I need to put in with that one. So that's all good. And what's the next one? Okay, so the Carlton Blues, they have played a couple of games and they won both their games, and funnily enough, they scored a total of 86 points in both rounds, which I feel like I need to double check that number, because it's just that weird consistency that you don't get in AFL sometimes with what the final scores can end up being. That said, I'm doing some model stitching for that's assigned to the Carlton Blues, and with this particular model stitching, I'm not ready to share it just yet. I'm aiming to have it ready by November, and that's when I'll be able to say, hey, ta-da, this is what it is, and it will hopefully be finished then. And that would be cool. I am sorry for being super, super vague on this one, and it will definitely make sense if you can stick with me and see what's going on in November. It's an exciting little development, so that will be absolutely awesome and cool. So what I can say with this model stitching that I'm doing, I've put a minimum of 300 stitches into it, and that's all I can say. I'm sorry. What's the next one? Okay, that's pretty much all the stitching that I have done so far, which is a lot, but doesn't seem like a lot with what I've been able to share with you. With that in mind, what's next? Okay, I still have some more stitching to do. So I'm getting my notes together. Actually, no, still one more piece. Okay, so I really wish I had the cover page with me on this one. I forgot to charge my tablet overnight, and therefore it's dead, and I don't have enough charge on it to be able to share this next cover page. So the cover page that I wanted to share with you is Trick or Treats 2, and it's a Heaven and Earth design or based on artwork by Randall Spangler, and it's a haunted house kind of theme. And this is where I'm at so far, and with this piece I'm about halfway through stitching the allocated amount I need to do. So Essendon won their game last night and they scored a total of 107 points, and I'm about halfway through that. So I've still got maybe another 50 odd to go. So I'm mostly working on the sky at the moment, and I'll then get to about here and it'll start to be the speckles to do with the roof. And it'll be a nice change to not be working on a whole heap of blues. It'll be cool. It'll be all good. That said, the what's the next lot of stitching I need to do? So I've mentioned that I still need to finish off Trick or Treat 2. I still need to put 121 stitches into a stitch in time, and I need to do 60 stitches for zebras. So the last piece that I need to share with you that needs some work put into it is Four Seasons Cats. So with Four Seasons Cats, this is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit that I've had for a really long time. I have not kept any records on when I started this or how long I've been working on it for. I just know that I've been working on this for a really long time. So a minimum of 10 years, longer than 10 years, because I started this before Michael and I were a couple. So this is where I'm at so far, and it's upside down. There we go. So I just have a quarter to go, and then it's all good. So the Geelong Cats, they won their game, and over the last couple of years, I have mostly worked on another Dimensions kit called Barnyard Kitties or Kittens, and I actually kind of forgot that I had that kit that I was working on. It was just I needed some projects that I wanted to really see some progress on and get some finishes done. And this is where the Four Seasons kittens or Four Seasons cats came to mind as like, I really want to see some progress done on this to the point of getting it finished. And if the Geelong Cats play like they have in recent years, I could have a finish on my hands. I'm not going to commit. We'll have to wait and see. With that in mind, I have 76 stitches that I need to put into this piece. And it'll be interesting to see what 76 stitches looks like on this piece. So that's pretty much it for all of the stitching that I've done over the last couple of weeks. And based on what you've seen and heard, I've still got a lot of stitching to do. And the next few weeks are going to be busy but fun. Busy with stitching, fun because it's going to be stitching. And towards the end of March, we've got Easter happening here, and that's going to be really cool. I've also got the Black Needle Society's digital stitching retreat happening. That is going to be really cool, but bittersweet. And I know I've mentioned this and said this in the last few episodes, where it's going to be the last Black Needle Society stitching box that I might do for a little while. And I'm thankful that I've heard about the box and I've heard about Black Needle Society and the different stitching boxes that they do. And I love the time and effort that the ladies put into it, because it just really makes it worthwhile. And on the internet, I've been seeing a lot of unboxings to do with the Winter and Stars Hollow Stitching Retreat, and I'm trying to hold off on watching any of those episodes because I don't want any surprises or spoilers. And I've already seen like a little hint there and a little hint here and there to do with the chart and what it's potentially going to look like. I've Heard whispers about some of the wearable things or usable things for lifestyle side of things that may be in the box, and I am just absolutely itching and hanging out, waiting for the box to arrive. And I am hoping that the box arrives before we start traveling, because the aim is that we'll head down to the coast a couple of days or so before Easter, and I will be neglecting Michael and hibernating away. Similar to this kind of setup, I'll be hibernating away, doing the stitching retreat, and catching up with international and Aussie based peoples, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I know that it's just going to be really, really cool, and I will be my usual awkward self, and as long as I remain myself, everything's all good. So that's that bit of excitement, and I'm also going to have some time off work between Easter and the first week of April, which I'm super excited about. I haven't had that sort of length of time off work since Christmas, and that's going to be pretty cool. And I'll be traveling hopefully from the coast to Canberra. I'll be participating in a fun run that's happening in Canberra around the 7th, Sunday the 7th of April, which also happens to be when we go back an hour to normal time. We're currently in daylight savings time, and so that's going to be a little bit fun with coordinating timing and all the rest. But theoretically, I get an extra hour of sleep, but I probably won't make the most of that hour, knowing my luck and based on everything that's happening. But it'll be really cool to do that. Unfortunately, I've taken a little bit of a break from my running plan because I've not taken as good care of myself as I should have. So my body is now at the stage where it is letting me know, or just reminding me about all of those times that I've not properly stretched and warmed up or cooled down before and after any runs that I've done. So all of that's catching up with me, and as much as I think I've warmed up prior to a run, my body has said, yeah, nah, sorry, you haven't done a good enough job of that warming up bit. And we're going to let you know about it, because we're going to make sure you have sore muscles and that it is going to be uncomfortable for you. So it is what it is. I'm an umpty. I'm a fool for not taking proper care, and it's resulted in me just needing to take a little bit of time in my training plan just to let my body recover and heal. And that way I will hopefully be in a strong enough space to complete the run and achieve as many of the mini goals that I have sitting around that run as I practically can. So that is what my aim is for that run to finish, to run the whole distance. The whole distance is 5.4 kilometers, and my additional goal is to enjoy the run, because I love Canberra. Even though I have moved away and I'm happy to have moved away, I still love Canberra. It's my hometown. It's my home space. I have all of my majority of my family and friends live in Canberra or the Canberra region, and I just love Canberra at this time of year because it has the change of colours that are happening with the autumn leaves, and I really miss that. We have that a little bit here in Wollongong, but the type of trees that grow here are very different. And that's totally cool. That's part of the joy of living somewhere different and experiencing different surrounds. So that's all part and parcel. And I moved away from Canberra just to experience a different part of the world, because I have lived all of my life in Canberra or the Canberra region, and I needed a change of scenery. Best way to put it. So that's that with the running, the travel, and stitching, and everything in between. I am doing a lot in the background of things to chart up a lot more cross stitch patterns, and I am feeling excited about them. I'm wanting to actually model stitch all of them and have proper photos for them before I get them out, especially for some of the simpler designs. And it'll take a little bit of time. I'm going to see how I can incorporate some of them into my AFL stitching challenge that I've got going on. And this is where it's at this exciting stage where I would love to think that I can be paid to do cross stitching, or somehow even be paid to stitch my home designs, and any other sort of variation that goes with that. That is the absolute ultimate goal, to be paid to do stitching, whether it be my own designs, other people's designs, or whatever variation there is, and to catch up with like-minded people, and to really develop that community that goes with cross stitching or crafting, because it's not just the cross stitching side of things that I've got that interest. Like, it's the photography and all the rest that goes with it. So we'll get there eventually. It'll be all good, and making the right choices to go with that. So this is my weird, wacky, long-winded way of wrapping up this particular episode of my channel, and I'll hopefully be able to catch up with you in a couple of weeks' time, which will be just towards the end of the Black Needle Society's Gilmore Girls Winter and Stars Hollow Stitching Retreat. And hopefully I'll be awake enough for it because of the time zones that go with that. I am looking forward to being able to share with you my experiences with that, and catch you up on the stitching I'm doing, and all that jazz. So until next time, I hope you have a great couple of weeks, and that you're able to get stitching done if that's your jam. And I will catch you next time. See you.